Okay, Rachel and I are back from holiday, and I bought some books while we were away. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is going to be a bit of a mix. I didn't take a hell of a lot of footage while we were away, so just for reference, Rachel and I were away for essentially the whole month of June. We started out in London for 8 or 9 days, where I got to meet some friends from the bookish community, which was really lovely. I didn't get footage of that. I didn't even take a lot of photos of that, to be honest. I just sort of wanted to be in the moment and be present with those people, but they were wonderful, wonderful experiences. Through that, we got to do some book shopping, so I got to traverse the biggest Waterstones in London, which was a lot of fun, and then I also went to one of the smaller ones, and then a couple of other bookshops here and there. After that, we went to Greece, where Rachel and I spent. This was our real honeymoon. We got married in COVID, so this was our actual honeymoon to ourselves and sort of our 5-year anniversary present or wedding anniversary present to each other. So we did that, and then we went back. We flew into Manchester, where I saw some more bookish pals, and then over to a place called Colne, which is where her family is from. And we spent a week there with her family. So I did go into a few bookstores. Now, with luggage limitations, I didn't buy a hell of a lot, but I thought I would end this video with the book haul. So I have a total of 8 things that I bought. I was gifted one, and I had a book exchange with a friend for another. So before we get into that, what I'll do is put all the B-roll footage that I put in here. It's essentially just a few bookshops, and then mostly Greece is where I got the B-roll footage from, so it'll be a little bit of a travel vlog situation, and then the book haul after it. So if you aren't interested in the B-roll footage, I mean, I'm biased. Greece is such a beautiful place. It's worth seeing, even if it's through my screen. But if you don't want to watch that, or you've been to Greece and you're like, I've seen it, I'll have timestamps down below, so you can go ahead. Forward to the end and check what I bought. But without any further ado, here is some B-roll footage of Rachel's and my time overseas. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that B-roll footage. Let's get into what I bought. I think the first thing that I'm going to show off is not a book. It's for the shark shelf, and it's not even a shark. It's a little ray. I got this from the aquarium. It was like day one. We'd been in London. We'd had a nap. We got in at 5 a.m. in the morning. We had a nap for 2 hours, and then we went off to the aquarium because it's very important for me to see sharks in different countries. Anyway, I thought this was super cute, and it will be going on one of the shelves up the top here. You can't really see it where I put it before, so obviously it needed to be shown here. Anyway, through to the books. So I guess my favorite acquisition that I got over the course of the month was a book swap by a friend of mine, Ricky Smith. So this is a line Unsundered ReVengeance. This is the final copy of this book now, and I have a physical copy here, which is fantastic. I've really enjoyed the journey. I'm watching Ricky go through the writing journey with A Line Unsundered. I've read this in all of its forms, bar this final one, which is now pretty chunky. I think it's had quite a few more words added to it, so I'm looking forward to reading this again when the time comes. And I think the pre-order, if you are interested in this body of work, is coming out in the next month or so. So I'll have Ricky linked down below, and a huge thank you for giving me this copy of A Line Unsundered, and I exchanged a copy of Alpha with him as well. So very excited to have that one on my shelves. It was really lovely to meet Ricky in person. I think I've been talking to him for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now, so getting a chance to meet up was wonderful. I did actually get a photo with Ricky, so I'll put that on the screen. So this is Ricky, who wrote this book, and he's currently working on his epic fantasy, which I think is already like 50,000 words, and it's about 38% of the way through if the updates that I am looking at are up to date. They should be relatively up to date for this video. The next one I was gifted by my aunt by marriage. So when we went to Rachel's family town, I saw that her aunt had all these Michael Connelly books on her shelf, and Michael Connelly is a crime writer. I've been recommended him before. I don't read a hell of a lot of crime, but he is someone who I have been recommended, and so much so that my grandfather, when he was alive, was recommending me those books. I had an omnibus of the first 3, which I gave to my mother when he passed, just as it was sort of gifted down to go on her shelves, and I mentioned that I wanted to read him, and my aunt ordered me a copy of the first book while we were there, which was really, really sweet. So this is The Black Echo by Michael Connelly. It's a crime thriller, I think. I have no idea how many there are in this series, but there are quite a lot, and this is the first book. So I don't know when I'll get to it. I am feeling a little bit of, I guess, fatigue with fantasy, and I have been gravitating towards things that aren't necessarily fantasy, so maybe sooner rather than later, I'm not sure, but that was a gift, so I appreciated that very much. Now, the 8 that I bought, can I count? I can count. A bit of a mix of things that I couldn't yet find in Perth, which were fantasy, and then one completely on a whim. I've got some litfic in here, and also I've got some horror in here. So I'm going to start with the one that it may be fantasy or fantasy adjacent, but I bought this on a whim because it sounded fantastic, and this is the Tarot Reader of Versailles, 2 Women, An Extraordinary Power and Explosive Bond by Anya Bergman. Is this not beautiful? This is such a delightful looking cover. And I read the back of this one, and it just sort of won me over with... It just sounded good. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, inspired by an astonishing true story. It is the early days of the French Revolution, and on the streets of Paris, terror reigns. Lenormand is a young woman with an extraordinary power. Through her tarot cards, she can commune with the dead, revolutionaries, and the aristocracy, I can speak, alike, seeking her out to divine their fortunes. Lenormand is loyal to Marie Antoinette, but she has seen the Queen's fate in the cards and must take care that it doesn't become her own. It goes on, but I read this, I was charmed by it. It looks really fun, so I picked this one up. And we're just leaning into mood reading, I guess. So if the mood strikes, then that will come up at some point. This one, I believe, is translated Korean litfic, and this is Delegate Dream Department Store. The dream you ordered is sold out. So this is, sorry, not litfic, speculative fiction, maybe magical realism, but from what I understand, this one is about a department store where you like pick your dream, and the one that this person wanted is no longer available, and it just looks so quirky and fun. Like, look at this cover, it is so colourful. I do like a bit of translated fiction from Korea. They've got sort of in a similar vein to Japanese translated fiction, where I find that with Japanese translated fiction, they tend to focus on the mundane and make it quite magical or really explore certain topics. With Korean spec or lit fiction, I find we get a little bit weird and funky, and I quite like that. And I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. Not only is it beautiful, but it just sounds like a lot of fun. I picked this one up in Harrods, of all places. So Rachel and I walked through Harrods, and we're like, we can't afford anything in here. And then we found out there was a bookstore, and we both got some books in there. But that is the one that I picked up. Then I picked up in one of the Waterstones that I went to, The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. This was one of the cases where it was a rule of three. So I picked it up in like 2 bookstores, and then I didn't buy it. And then I went into the 3rd bookstore and picked it up, and I said, well, that's 3. I'm obviously drawn to it for some reason. I didn't actually realize the hive situation here before I picked it up. So this is horror, and I've heard very good things about it. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I don't think I'm necessarily going to wait until spooky season. If I'm feeling a bit of horror, I'll pick this one up. I haven't read anything else from this author, but I have also heard good things about the death of Jane Lawrence. So if I like the book, then I've got a few other works from that author that I can go ahead and pick up. In a similar case, I have got Overgrowth by Mira Grant. This is an author I've been curious about for a little while. This cover is so stunning. The ring light is really going to not do it justice here. Sorry about the wibble wobbles. Just beautiful. This is also horror. I've wanted to read Mira Grant for a little while. I think Feed is the one that comes to mind, but I know that this author has a few works out, and this one has a what are they called? An endorsement by Cassandra Core, which is one of my favorite horror authors, and they write weird horror. So I was drawn to this one a couple of times and picked this one up as well. The next one I picked up because I walked into a bookstore, I wasn't feeling anything, and I didn't want to not buy anything. Anyone else do that? I'm curious. I've read something from this author before. I didn't enjoy it. It's actually one of the very few books that I DNF'd in the last couple of years. I enjoyed the writing. I don't love haunted house tales, but I am willing to give the author another shot, and that is Chuck Wendig with The Staircase in the Woods. So I have heard interesting things about this from Jordaline over at Jordaline Reads, and I'm willing to give it a go, and I didn't want to be rude walking out of the bookstore with nothing because of my own brain at that time, so I picked this one up. I don't know when or where I'll get to that one. Now, the next 3 are books that I just haven't been able to find in paperback in Australia, and they were in Waterstones. So I picked them up while book shopping with a couple of bookish friends, which was, a lot of fun. The first one is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. I am so late to the party on this book, but that's okay. Normally Hype Train sort of turns me off. This one is a beautiful cover. I hear this is really, really good. And for my particular taste, where it's quite literary fantasy, which is deeply thematic, and I've just heard fantastic things from many people who have talked about this one. So I don't know when I will get to it, but I'm glad to now own a copy because I've been looking for a paperback for, I would say, well over a year at this point, and I just haven't found one. So I'm glad that I got to buy it from a bookstore rather than order it from Amazon, which also in Australia just doesn't have that many. The next one I picked up was one I think a few people have been very hyped about over the last sort of year or so and would like me to read. I haven't picked it up yet, but I have now got a paperback copy of The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I have heard nothing but fantastic things about this from people that I trust as well in the bookish community who know my tastes, so I'm pretty sure this one is going to be a hit at some point when I pick it up. But I am very happy to now have this one. I can't even find this one in hardback, so normally I think it's the same everywhere. When a book releases, you'll get the big paperbacks, which are oversized, and also hardbacks. I cannot find this book. So it was this one and Asunder. I cannot find Asunder. I could not find that while I was away either, but I'm still looking for a paperback edition of that. The last one that I picked up was one of my friends that I was hanging out with basically said, "Have you read this book?" I said, "No, I haven't." And they were like, you have to read this book. So I was like, okay, well, you've convinced me. And I picked it up. And this is A Song of Legends Lost. This is by M.H. Allende. And I believe book 2 has come out very recently, and that's currently in the hardcover. That's got like a beautiful blue on its cover. So I picked that one up as well. I have no idea when I'm getting to any of these, but I did have fun going shopping in another country. I didn't buy any books in Greece, but I definitely did in the UK, in both stints while I was there. Rachel got a few things too. She went more into the cozy fantasy, but that was my haul. So, if you like the video, give it a those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will. I will catch you in the next video. I'm not sure when that will be. I'm essentially going to take the month of July to figure out what I want this channel to be, if anything, because I have really pulled back on a lot of filming. So I will have the indie release lists out this month for June and July, and then I'm not so sure, maybe a vlog. I don't know. We'll see. That was a lot of rambling for the end of a video. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.